really good. And I want to thank everyone who love their essentials.
Sharon Osbourne finally breaks her silence after Ozzy Osbourne's death. The world stopped on July 22, 2025. News broke that Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary Prince of Darkness, the man who turned heavy metal into a religion for generations, was gone.
First, we have some breaking news to get to. The legendary singer Ozzy Osbourne has died. That is according to our partners at the BBC.
He died at 76 from cardiac arrest at his Buckinghamshire home. The world wept. Social media flooded with tributes. Fellow musicians bowed their heads. Fans shared stories of how Ozzy's music had shaped their lives. From Birmingham pubs to Los Angeles arenas, from Sabbath's haunting riffs to Crazy Train's timeless anthem, Ozzy Osbourne's legacy was undeniable.
To pay tribute to Ozzy, Chad Smith, Robert Trujillo, Adam Wakeman, Andrew Watt, Billy Idol, Steve Stevens, Zakk Wylde, Shelley Rowe, and to start it off, Maynard James Keenan and Wolfgang Van Halen.
But amid the wave of grief, one silence was louder than all the noise. Sharon Osbourne, his wife of more than 40 years, said nothing. For weeks, she stayed quiet. No interviews, no statements, no appearances.
A frail and despondent Sharon then bowed her head as she and her family raised their arms, giving the peace sign, showing their gratitude to the crowd who had gathered to show their love and pay their respects.
Jack Osbourne, their son, thanked fans for their support.
My dad was a special guy. He wasn't just a father to me. He was my colleague. We worked together in so many capacities. There was a period where I was between houses and I moved back in with him, so he was my housemate, in my late 30s, and it was awesome. Me and the kids were living here. Just a friend, a text buddy, a joke cracker. I was so lucky. I had such a great relationship with him, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that he was my father. And I'm sure people think, well, yeah, why wouldn't you be? But it's not. The material component of it pales into comparison for the stuff that really, really made him a father. He was deeply complicated. He was funny and weird and awkward and clumsy and just hilarious and so insightful.
Kelly Osbourne, their daughter, shared how devastated she was, saying her father's death was the hardest moment of her life.
I promise I won't get it in your eye. It's healthy. Green is good. Green color of money. How could you do that to me? Dad, please take it off. Dad, you're putting a lot on. It's in my mouth.
You can't be poisoned.
Well, we'll soon find out, won't we?
But Sharon, who had been Ozzy's fiercest defender, the manager who resurrected his career, the wife who nursed him through Parkinson's disease and countless surgeries, remained silent.
Sharon!
What has she done to help you get where you are?
She wouldn't take any crap time with it. And I said to Sharon, I wanted someone to cuddle me and say it's going to be all right. I go to Sharon, I think I'm dying. And Sharon goes, die quietly. I've got an appointment at 9 o'clock.
Fans grew anxious. Was she too broken to speak? Was she hiding from the spotlight she had once commanded with such force? That silence, heavy and deafening, became a story in itself. And then, on September 12th, Sharon broke her silence. It wasn't in a press conference. It wasn't on a talk show. It wasn't through her usual fiery television appearances. It was in a quiet post on Instagram. Her words were simple. Her voice, though written, carried the weight of grief. I'm still having trouble finding the words to express how grateful I am for the overwhelming love and support you've shown on social media, she wrote. Your comments, posts, and tributes have brought me more comfort than you know. None of it has gone unnoticed. In fact, it's carried me through many nights. Those words carried me through many nights, cut through the noise.
And I want to thank everyone for all their texts and goodwill. Love they've sent to us.
Sharon Osbourne, the woman who had survived cancer, public betrayals, humiliation on live television, and the relentless brutality of the music industry, was admitting something rare, that she was surviving only because of the love of strangers. Fans had carried her through. Their comments, their tributes, their posts, they were her lifeline in the darkness. This was not the fierce, unbreakable Sharon the world knew. This was a widow, shattered and clinging to love where she could find it. But Sharon didn't stop there. She shared a video from Cornwall Falconry in England, where she and Kelly Osbourne spent the afternoon with owls and falcons.
Sitting in the basement apartment I rent.
It wasn't random. It was symbolic. Sharon explained. Though I'm still finding my footing, I wanted to share some glorious creatures I had the chance to spend an afternoon with. The connection you make with these powerful birds is built entirely on trust and confidence. They'll choose to perch on you only if they sense you are safe and unafraid of them. It's a bond one know all too well, and the experience was nothing short of magical. Fans immediately understood the metaphor. These birds, powerful, majestic, fragile, will only trust if they feel safe. Sharon, who had spent her life building trust with a man who was chaos incarnate, understood that bond intimately. Ozzy had been unpredictable, destructive, loving, hilarious, heartbreaking, all at once. Yet Sharon built a life with him, trusted him, fought for him, and loved him until his final breath.
Sharon!
What has she done to help you get where you are?
She wouldn't take any crap time with it. And I said to Sharon, I wanted someone to cuddle me and say it's going to be all right. I go to Sharon, I think I'm dying. And Sharon goes, die quietly. I've got an appointment at 9 o'clock.
Now, standing with owls, she was telling the world that trust and safety are what she needs most. That grief is fragile, that she is fragile, and that she is trying to rebuild. Her message ended with words that broke hearts. I love you all, and I thank you deeply for the otherworldly amount of love you continue to send my way. It wasn't just a thank you. It was an admission that she couldn't carry this weight alone.
And I want to thank everyone for all their texts and goodwill. Love they've sent to us.
That she needed the fans. That their love had become her oxygen in the silence of widowhood. The reaction was immediate. The post went viral. Fans filled her comments with love. We're here for you, Sharon. Thank you for sharing him with us. Stay strong. Fellow musicians echoed the sentiment. Rob Halford of Judas Priest, who had spoken movingly about Ozzy's final concert, sent words of love. Others reminded Sharon that she was as much a part of Ozzy's legacy as his music.
What really first attracted me to my wife was her laugh. She's got such a great laugh.
These two have turned into like teenage gamers. They're up until 5 in the morning.
7
watching TV shows.
all night long. Your dad will sleep, then wake a couple of times in the night, catch up on things he just missed by falling asleep, and then he goes back to sleep again.
How much coffee do you guys drink in the day?
None. We have no coffee.
We're just high on life.
Yeah,
Clearly.
absolutely.
Without her, he would not have survived the addictions, the illnesses, the chaos. Without her, there might not have been an Ozzy Osbourne at all. But Sharon's silence, and then her breaking of it, also revealed something deeper. It reminded the world who she was in this story. Sharon Osbourne wasn't just the widow of Ozzy Osbourne. She was the architect of his second life.
See, with both of them, because it was, I say it's heartbreaking, but also if you could have scripted a way for Ozzy to go, actually, I think what he would have done is said, I would like to have a farewell concert in Birmingham, the city where he grew up as a young lad, where Black Sabbath were formed. I'd like all my mates, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, all these guys. I'd like all my family. They were all backstage. I'd like thousands of Brummies. what we call people from Birmingham, all with their Brummie accents. I'd like them all in the crowd going nuts. I want to perform a few hits and say goodbye, and then bid us farewell. And I texted him the night before, and I read it yesterday just to remind myself, and he just said, oh, I'm really excited, we're in Birmingham, the final show, and then that's that. And when I read that text again, I was like, wow. It was almost like he was putting a seal on the end of his life, you know? And look, if you said to Ozzy in his 30s and 40s, you're going to live to 76, he'd have gone, I'll take that. You know, he had a wild, crazy life.
When Black Sabbath imploded, when Ozzy fell into addiction and despair, it was Sharon who picked him up, who pushed him to launch a solo career, who created Ozfest, who fought with record labels and critics to give him a second act. She turned the Prince of Darkness into a global brand, a cultural icon, and later a television star. She was the force behind him. And now, stripped of him, she was revealing herself as just a woman in pain. The falconry video carried another message too. Owls are creatures of the night. They thrive in darkness. They see what others cannot. In many cultures, they symbolize wisdom, endurance, and even death. Sharon standing with them wasn't just symbolic of trust, it was symbolic of survival. Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, had lived his life in the shadows. Sharon, now alone, was learning how to see through that darkness without him. And the timing of her statement was deliberate. Almost 2 months had passed since Ozzy's funeral in Birmingham on July 30th. That funeral, a private but deeply emotional affair, drew thousands into the streets. Birmingham, the birthplace of Black Sabbath.
They were emotionally supported by a throng of thousands at the memorial site for the beloved rock legend.
You know, my dad was a special guy. You know, he wasn't just a father. To me, he was my colleague. We worked together in so many capacities. There was a period where I was between houses and I moved back in with him, so he was my housemate, you know, in my late 30s, and it was awesome. Me and the kids were living here. Just a friend, a text buddy, a joke cracker. Like, I was so lucky. I had such a great relationship with him, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that he was my father. He was funny and weird and awkward and clumsy and just hilarious and so insightful. I've said this before, but...
Her children's statements added more weight. Kelly admitted her father's death was the hardest moment of her life. Jack said he was full of sorrow, but also gratitude, thankful that Ozzy had been his dad.